Today I'm not alone. As you say, we have a special guest, which is Mike from Sinclair. And not only Mike is a friend, but Sinclair was and still is a pioneer, definitely a pioneer in the US market for several topics, but in particular for the NextGenTV adoption. I said, okay, we have two running horses. One is HbbTV in Europe, and ATSC3 started a little bit later, but was really inspired by HbbTV, even if they're adopting technically different technology, different, more IP-oriented standard. But from the business point of view, and you know, guys, I'm more focused on the business point of view rather than the technical because of my role. And my brain also, I'm not able to do the technical anymore, unfortunately. But also, we have been part of this move from the HbbTV and European experience into the US since the beginning. And now we are going today, together with Mike, to present an update of what's happening in the US based on our and Sinclair experiences. And Raji already gave us some other interesting examples from the same market. So you see here is just, rather than introducing the company, I will briefly introduce what we have done with US friends in this market. We started initially in 2018 with the NAB, implementing the first ATSC3 app. It was a demonstrative one, and we worked at that time also together with Per TV to try to onboard the first pioneers in this market, on this initiative. Then finally we went live with Televisa in 2021. With one of the first live broadcast app in the US. And then we had a lot of pilots also. You see with scripts, I think what is interesting from this heterogeneity, from these examples, is the heterogeneity of the application. So I think that rather than we are already in a mature stage where we are thinking about the monetization, focusing on dynamic advertising replacement and so on in Europe, here we are in the stage in which still we have to convince and to bring useful services to the citizens first, and then think about monetization. So being this the status, you see that most of the brands here are experimenting different things, different applications, because they want really to provide different new services. Scripps was about fake news recognition and how to help the citizens to understand when a news is a fake news and to dismiss it and to protect from them. Warner Media was playing with the binge watching from linear broadcasted content to VOD and backwards, like if it was a real binge watching, but between the two different channels. Type of channels. Howard University, we're using the data casting functionality, which is not part of HbbTV, but ATSC can transfer data casting to enable remote schooling where the internet connection is not available. Very useful during the COVID. It was designed in 2020. CBS is experimenting some ways of e-commerce and product promotion, starting from a format like the Saturday morning segment. The next one we will see better is gamification, and we'll spend more words about this because this gamification is now moving towards betting, so it's getting even more interesting. And Sinclair started with a complete application which provides the core of the ATSC3 features. A little focus on Televisa because maybe it's an interesting case. Here, they decided to focus on their strengths, news, and in particular local news. So they're leveraging ATSC3 to to stress their core, which is even hyper-local news, with the goal to build loyalty and retention among viewers. We built this on top of the Run3 framework together with Raji, and that was a very interesting experience, I think. This is another one I picked up because we did it in 2020, having in mind sport gamification. So during a live hockey match, the standard allows to display this reverse L shape to provide questions. The user can answer with the remote and say, okay, how many total goals will be scored in the third? And you can get points according to your answer. And then there is a leaderboard. So in addition to the stats of the game, of the hockey game, there is the leaderboard about this contest game. And this application is now also, we are working with this in partnership with Verance, which is here, I think, Jason, today. And we are moving this towards the betting and external information display application. So it's enriched with a big screen app which is in sync with the live events, with the sports stats, and with betting service provider. The L-bar frame in this new use cases provides users data, but also enriched graphics, sports stats, betting info, and match results. And then the watermarks is a key technology which is used to identify the match phases, pre, mid, post game, which are mandatory to be able to synchronize the bets. And then also the mobile app is integrated with the TV app because most of this interactivity that I was very quickly describing requires an easier user interface which is available on the mobile. Then we helped, I say that pioneering, that Sinclair is really a pioneer, but we helped them in redesigning their second wave. They are already in the second wave of ATSC broadcast app, but who best than Mike can introduce and also not only say what they already did, but what they are going to do in the future according to their ATSC3 strategy. Please, Mike, the mic. Hello. Mike, the mic is yours. Sorry for the.
Thank you. Yeah, good morning. As Oliver said, I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Sinclair. Oliver, can you get to the first slide for me?
Yes. Sorry.
Thank you. So Sinclair Broadcast Group, a little bit about us. We're the second largest television operator in the United States. As Oliver said, we're trying to push forward on a lot of different fronts with ATSC 3.0. It is, I know that this is a lot about HbbTV and about the broadcast application for ATSC 3.0, but we're also thinking about this in terms of being an IP network operator because the ATSC 3.0 standard is IP based. So we have all the national channels, Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC, non-news channels, sports. We also run regional sports networks throughout the United States. So for those that aren't familiar, it's the Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, National Basketball Association. We produce and distribute games throughout the country. Next. So here's how ATSC, a little bit different tack than their previous presenters, but here's how ATSC 3.0 is progressing within the U.S. We are part of Pearl. Pearl and another entity called BitPath have combined to do a lot of market rollouts for Sinclair and a lot of the other broadcasters throughout the U.S. of ATSC 3.0. That was an interesting slide. But right now, we're around 55% of the U.S. Households are covered by an ATSC 3.0 signal. By the end of this year, we'll have 41 of our own markets transitioned to ATSC 3.0. And we're doing this not just because of the interactivity layer that ATSC 3.0 provides, similar to HbbTV, but also because of the ability to be much more efficient with our spectrum and how we distribute content throughout the US. Next. This is a little video. Hopefully it plays for you. If it doesn't, we'll skip through it. Can we try to play it? Thanks. Next slide. This is just a little bit about how we're trying to market and introduce ATSC 3.0 throughout the U.S. Really focused on some of the initial benefits to ATSC 3.0 for the consumer in the U.S. Specifically, better audio and video quality, improvements in digital interactivity, improvements in regionalization and localization of alerting, tying that into our existing alerting systems in the US and really getting into some of the personalization with respect to ad delivery and ad content and the interactive content. So new consumer expectations, if you can flip back a slide, I've got them up here too, so I'll talk about it. Basically, essentially everyone in the US is connecting their ATSC 3.0 TVs to the sets, and one of the reasons we know that is because the broadcast application itself delivers us data back into into our Google Analytics suite, so we can manage and understand who's watching what programming when. So a big thing for us are the data sources that are coming back from the broadcast application in the US. And this, I think, this slide here, I think is really, something that's fairly well understood, at least from an HbbTV perspective. Like what else can we do with our broadcast application? How can we enhance the viewer experience? It's done with HTML5. We have dash video streaming. Should we do second screen experiences? What else can we build in? To Raj's point earlier, building in gaming capability, building in things that are designed for a lean back experience, but still bring the user a little bit closer to the TV than they've been before. Next. So wireless IP data delivery, I touched on this at the very beginning. This is one of the besides providing a better consumer experience with broadcast interactivity through ATSC 3.0, we're also looking to use our spectrum for data distribution throughout the US. And that is because we are so much more efficient with our spectrum in ATSC 3.0. We can fit a lot more video into the same amount of spectrum in 3.0 than we can in ATSC 1.0. And that leaves availability and room for us to do things like enhanced GPS data distribution. So distributing a GPS correction signal over broadcast, delivering audio video specific for vehicular, for automotive, delivering other pieces of data for IoT devices. We're really looking to build our spectrum to be a data agnostic video distribution or distribution platform. If that's audio and video, that's fine also, but we think that there's a market for doing a lot more with our IP spectrum. Next. This is just a quick example of something that we've done in Seoul, with our partners in Korea. I'm not sure how many are familiar that South Korea was the first place to adopt ATSC 3.0, and we're working with them to demonstrate ATSC 3.0 reception in vehicles, tying together the 5G networks with the ATSC 3.0 networks, and thinking about how that experience might work. Next. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Back to Oliver.
Thank you, Mike. I'm absolutely fascinated by the automotive application, which is another entire world, not only for entertainment, but also for the operations of the electric cars and so on. Well, I have one more word about Sinclair, which is, oh, sorry, it was the previous one, but I don't know how to go back. Okay, it works. Next star. Sinclair, yesterday we won a prize for the open sourcing of HbbTV solutions. And Sinclair, I need to admit, I must admit, that we took the idea from Sinclair because they open sourced months ago their ATSC 3.0 software for the benefit of the other broadcasters. And we already did together a new customer, which is Nextstar, reusing their open source. I will be quick just saying that, well, we have seen some new ideas, some similar ideas to what we are doing in Europe. I think that looking both at NextGenTV and HbbTV in US and Europe, I would like to summarize this, that the audience, I'm not technical now, I'm just looking at the business side. The audience is ready for a new experience. And also the market and the brands are willing to experiment new business model. I was impressed yesterday by not only by Publitalia, but also by Digitivision, examples of advertising campaigns that are already running successfully. So money is flowing. And broadcasters and operators should carefully now define their strategic roadmap. The technology is there, of course, thanks to the community like the community is here today, and thanks to the work that is going on, the technology will be even better in the future. We spoke about DVB-ISD, for example, but already today is the time to define, to introduce this new technology in a clear strategic roadmap, integrating hybrid TV services with a cross-channel proposition, which includes the television sets and all the other properties of a broadcaster, and combining the TV with online channels and the proper mix of new services. So lesson learned and ideas from the US. Focus to provide new services to the citizens and then monetize. And second, we have the idea from DVB-IS, they combine the online channels with the broadcasted ones, in accordance, of course, with the overall brand positioning, which is not one receipt for all. It's not one size fits all. It's a matter of tailoring the strategy with the brand positioning. And thanks a lot. And thank Mike for your contribution.
Yeah, thank you.